Welcome back to the Card Man's Cards. I'm the Card Man. Who else would it be? I don't know. Anyways, stupid joke aside. Um, Welcome back. It is 2025. I haven't posted it since, well, basically the holiday season. So, let's jump back into this year with some darkness as the weather is changing and it's getting dark outside pretty quick. So, hopefully CyberDark Overlords aren't coming. Damn it, Zane. Why do you have to get edgy? I don't know. But anyways, we have a few new cards for CyberDark / Cyber in general. In Alliance Insight with giving us CyberDark Wrum and CyberDark jormungandr. Yeah, it's weird. They're not inherently amazing, but they're good. They do good stuff and some interesting things. They help basically make it turns a 1.5 card combo into 4 negates into like 7, which is kind of crazy. This is also apparently this is also after using Clockwork Night and that stuff as well. So this is basically going to be the most up to date list from Alliance Insight to that point. So a little bit further than now, but not too far. So, I do believe we can go ahead and go over the cards. Because some of these are older, so some of these I don't remember them. And some of them from other structure deck cards. So let's go ahead and jump into it. First off, we have CyberDark Horn at level 4 Dark Machine effect. 800. I do believe all of the regular level 4 CyberDarks have the same stats of 800. Yeah, they all do. I do believe they all have this same effect as well. You can target one level 3 or lower dragon monster in the grave, equip it to this card, gains attack equal to the original attack of the monster equipped by this effect. If this card attacks, if this monster inflict pierce. If this card would be destroyed by battle, destroy that monster equipped monster instead. They all have that secondary clause where if it's destroyed by battle, right? Just destroyed by battle, yeah. You can destroy that monster, equipped monster. So it's kind of like a union card in a sense. But they all have individual effects depending on when they attack and do stuff. Horn, for example, does pierce. The next one, which is CyberDark Edge, which is level 4 Dark Machine, again 800, has the same effect as the other ones, which is if it's normal summon, you can equip a level 3 or lower dragon monster to the equip, and it gains attack. And then this card can attack directly. If it does using its effect, its attack is halved. So this allows you to poke directly for some damage if your opponent has like a wall of some kind, but the damage overall is going to be reduced. And then again, if this card is destroyed by battle, destroy the equipped monster. And then the last one of the original trio is CyberDark Keel. It's pun on kill, if you get it. It's another level 4 Dark Machine, 800. Again, equips a level 3 or lower dragon, gains the attack for that monster. And then if this card is destroyed by monster by battle, inflict 300 points of damage to your opponent. And again, if it would be destroyed by battle, destroy the equipped card. So, they're all not great. They all do something okay. Basically, normal summon, to equip a dragon, get big, and then do something on battle. They're not great. They all originally polyed into CyberDark Dragon, which we'll go over when we get there, which is basically the edgy version of CyberDragon. Next up, we have, surprisingly, only 2 copies of CyberDark Claw. You could run this at 3. I'm choosing to run it at 2, and I have never seen any issues. You could run it at 3, which might be the better ratios, because you do kind of want to open your CyberDark spells and traps, or wait to get to them earlier, but it doesn't inherently matter. So, run this or whatever. I'm running at 2 right now, just for testing. If I do change this, I'll let you know. CyberDark Claw is a level 3 Dark Dragon effect. 800. My bad. This is one of 2 dragon monsters that CyberDark inherently the archetype has. This in Cannon, which we'll go over next. If this card is sent from the grave while equipped to a monster, you can target one CyberDark monster in the grave. Out of the hand, you can only each effect of the following effects of CyberDark Claw once per turn. You can discard this card, add one CyberDark spell/trap from the deck to the hand, and then during damage calculation, if a monster equipped with this card battles, you can send one monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. So this is basically allowing you to set up your grave for your bigger fusion monsters by sending other dragons or other monsters to the grave for them to equip. Basically, this entire archetype revolves around you equipping dragons and or machine monsters, I don't remember specifically which ones do which, to them to gain big attack. And this one also allows you to grab a spell. As you can see, it's spell colored-ish. It's like a greenish color, which is what spells are. But yeah, it's an easy 2 of. Probably 3 if you're so inclined. Just depends on who you are. And then next up we have the other 3, which is CyberDark Cannon, which is level 3 Dark Machine. Sorry, Dark Dragon. He's a dragon, not a machine, a dragon. 16,800. So his stats, I do believe, oh no, yeah, they're the same. Cannon and Claw have the same stats. If this card is sent to the graveyard while equipped to a monster, you can draw 1 card. So that does come up, and that is handy. You can use each of the following effects of CyberDark Cannon once per turn. You can discard this card, add 1 machine CyberDark monster from your deck to your hand. So this allows you to grab any of the other machine CyberDark monsters we've gone over, plus a few we haven't yet. And during damage calc, if this monster is equipped with this card battles, send 1 monster from your deck to the grave. So this allows you to fill your grave with other low-level dragons or anything like that for your CyberDarks to equip. Again, typically those effects, like the sending from grave or the sending from extra deck, typically never come up unless you're specifically needing them. And then next up to one of the best cards ever printed for CyberDark/CyberDragon is CyberDark Chimera. This came out in the structure deck. I forget what the structure was called, top of my head. But it is CyberDark Chimera, a level 4 Dark Machine, 821. So kind of CyberDragon stats, but reverse. No, 21. So yeah, close to CyberDragon. You can discard 1 spell/trap, add 1 power bond from your deck to your hand, and you can only use Dragon or Machine Cyber monsters as fusion material this turn. Also, once you fusion summon this turn, you can also banish monsters from the graveyard as material. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can send 1 CyberDark monster from your deck to the grave with a different name than from the cards in your grave. You can use each effect of CyberDark Chimera once per turn. So, this allows you to do a lot of things, a lot of good things. 1, it's an easy normal summon. 2, it allows you to grab Power Bond, which is an amazing poly spell for Cyber decks, for Cyber Dragon/Dark. And then third off, it allows you to put you another CyberDark monster in grave, which will help you poly, because it allows you to treat Cyber Power Bond to poly from graveyard as well. So you can use Power Bond to banish monsters from your grave to poly into the CyberDark fusions, which is very helpful. Or even the Cyber Dragon fusions, which is still very good. And it's easily summonable by new support they got as well in the structure deck, which we'll see. Which I'm assuming everyone knows by now. I could be wrong. And that's an easy 2 of. Everything else so far I've gone over. The original trio are all 1-ofs. They're basically just cards you have to run. Basically. If you run multiple of these, either you're doing CyberDark Control, which exists, or you're just not playing this deck all that well. I could be wrong. Surprise me. Next up, the brand new card for CyberDark. Kinda. I say kinda just because it's only CyberDark when it's in the deck. When it's on field or in grave, it's no longer a CyberDark monster, it's a CyberDragon. It's considered CyberDragon, which is weird. And it's kind of an annoyance. If it wasn't CyberDragon, this card would be even better. Because this will allow you to poly without have to worry about sending anything else. Because this is just inherent another CyberDark name that you can put in grave really easily. It is a level 5 Dark Machine, 821. Same stats as Chimera. I do believe Chimera is just a combination of Cannon and Wrum, and I think Keel as well. Like, it's a mix of a few of them. And then I do believe Wrum is, like, it's Edge and Horn, I want to say, like, smushed together. I think maybe CyberDragon's attached in there somewhere. I don't know. But they look like they have other monsters attached to them. Anyways, let's get to this card's effect. This card's name becomes CyberDragon when on the field or in the grave. If this card is in your hand or graveyard and you have another machine, a cyber monster on your field or in your grave, you can send 1 CyberDragon monster from your hand or deck to the grave, which is cost. There's summon this card. Then you can add 1 cyber spell/trap from your grave to your hand. You can only use this effect of CyberDark Wrum once per duel, which stinks. But all the rest of that are really good. Other than the CyberDragon thing. I wish it didn't become CyberDragon. It does matter, because you can technically poly with it and stuff like it. It does come up, but it's not inherently that amazing. It'd be better off without it than with it, unless you're running it in CyberDragon, and that's like, woo, more material. But for CyberDark, it's not great. But the other effects of this card allowing you to basically send any other Cyber Dragon you want, monster, to the grave, which is awesome, because you can resurrect them pretty easily now with Clockwork Knight and Nova, basically making more materials for the board to use really easily. And then you can just add one of your used spell and traps back for power bond grabbing. Or, if you're really cool and you know how to play, for the effect of Clockwork Night to grab Regulus, which is an awesome card to use. So yeah, the main reason I'm running this is at 2. Most people are like, oh, it's a bad card, run it at 1, run it at 1. No, don't listen to them. This is a 2 of. For one reason. If you open this, you can use it for Cybernetic Horizon without after eating anything else in your hand. And it's amazing to send out for Horizon, because you can send the other jormungandr from deck, and you get 2 good cards in grave if you open this. And it's really good. It's an okay card to open. It's fine at 2. You could also run it as 1, but I also feel running it as 1 is a little less helpful, because you would want to see this. I want to see sending this more than anything. I want to send this and jormungandr. 2 cards I want to send 90% of the time. If I can do it, I want to do it, because this allows me to end on another 2 interruptions, which is awesome. That's why I feel he's a 2 of. Same thing with jormungandr. They're not great inherently, but with a pair of them combined, you get an extra like 3 interruptions, which is awesome. Easy 2 of. I get if you're like, oh my god, his effects aren't great. It's not his effects that make him good. It's the fact he's a level 5 machine monster, so you can make a Nova Infinity, and then jormungandr allows you to add Polymerization, which is, hey look, a fusion spell. Allows you to fuse into another negate. So you get Nova and Infinity, you get Infinity and a Poly off of this, which allows you to have 2 more interactions on top of whatever else you can do with this guy. So his stats are more important than his effect. Let's go with that. Next up, we have Therion King Regulus, a level 8 Earth Machine, 2616. And I was like, how do you search Regulus? How do you search Regulus? This is a Dark Machine deck. Clockwork Night. You can banish it, discard a card, add any Earth Machine monster from the deck. Simple. Regulus is basically a Omni Negate. Well, he's not basically Omni Negate. He is an Omni Negate. You can only use each effect of following effects of Therion King Regulus once per turn. You can target one Therion monster or one machine monster in your grave. Special summon this card from your hand if you do equip that monster, which is cool. You can just equip, boom, done. When your opponent activates a card or quick effect, you can send one Therion monster from your hand or face up on the field, negate that effect. So you just send Regulus. But he's searchable off of a combo card that you go into, which is awesome. So you're normally always going to end on Regulus. In addition to Regulus, if you equip any of these little guys that go back to the grave, you can actually do stuff. Like, for example, if Herz is on the grave, it goes to the grave, you can add a Cyber Dragon monster, or Cyber Dragon. So yeah, helpful. And then next up, we have the Cyber Dragon card, because CyberDark does not have enough good cards to play by itself. Which sucks, but the Cyber Dragon cards help you out a lot. They're typically your combo starters, which sucks, but basically you're running almost an even split of Cyber Dragons to CyberDark monsters. Because if you look, I have 3 1-ofs and 2 2-ofs. And here is 3 1-ofs, a 2, a 3, 2 2, 2 2. So it's close. There's 2 more CyberDark cards that become Cyber Dragon. So close enough. Like, you could legit just drag it here and like, hey look, it's almost an equal split. But anyways, Cyber Dragon, goddamn. Cyber Dragon Core. It's a level 2 light machine, 415. This card name becomes Cyber Dragon while on the field or in the grave, which I do believe all Cyber Dragon monsters have some variation of that ability. This card is normal summon. Add 1 Cyber Spell Trap from your deck to your hand. If you can only control monsters, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Special summon 1 Cyber Dragon monster from your deck. You can only use 1 effect Cyber Dragon Core effect per turn and only once that turn. So you get 1 effective core and only once that turn. So you can either normal summon, add a spell, or banish summon a Cyber Dragon. That's it. That's all you get. One or the other. And only once that turn. So you can't try to cheese it. This is a very easy 3 of. This is your main starter card. Basically, you want to normal summon core as often as possible. Which is awesome, because he adds any card except for Imperm and Poly and Clockwork Night. Well, not even. He allows you to get Clockwork Night too. So technically, he adds everything but Imperm and like these four, like 5 cards here: Imperm, Call by the Grave, and Poly. Those are the only cards he can't grab. Everything else in this deck, he allows you to grab or gets to in some fashion, which is awesome. So he's very important. Easy 3 of. If you're not running 3 core, you have problems. And then 1 CyberDark Herz. This used to be a 2 or 3 of. It used to be really good because it become level 5, so it was easy to get Nova Infinity off of this guy. He's just become less and less relevant. He's mainly used for a secondary effect nowadays. He's level 1 light machine, 100. This card became CyberDragon on the field in the grave, as do most of them. One of the following effects of CyberDragon Herz once per turn and only once that turn. If this card is special summoned, you may make this card's level become 5 until the end of this turn. Also, you can special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, except machine monsters, which is fine. Everything in this deck is machine except for the 2 dragons you're running. And again, you're never going to special summon them. Never. And then, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 other CyberDragon from your deck or grave to your hand. So just add a bit of recursion. You could, honestly, if you really want to, cut this card. I'm not saying you should, but you could. And next up, other than this is to me the best card, CyberDragon card that, other than core, in this deck. Other than CyberDragon, I don't know. CyberDragon Nachster, another level 1 light machine, 200. This card becomes CyberDragon on the field or in the grave. You can discard 1 other monster, special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can target 1 machine monster with 21 attack or defense in the grave. Special summon it. You can also not special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, except machine monsters. You only each affect a CyberDragon Nachster once per turn. So, Nachster can either summon CyberDragon, jormungandr, Chimera, Wrum. I think that's it. Yeah, it's all the monsters you can summon from grave. But those are all really amazing targets. And it's easily summonable by just discarding anything else, which is fine, because you discard a lot in this deck. So, pretty good card. Very helpful, as you will see later on in the combo videos. If you haven't seen my stuff before, I do 1 deck profile, going over a lot of the deck, and then 1 combo video, going through the combos. Next up is CyberDragon. The OG. Big old Cyber D. I shouldn't say it like that. CyberDragon. Level 5 light machine monster. 21-16. If your opponent controls a monster, you can summon this card. Sorry, if only your opponent controls a monster. So you had to control no cards. But it's just easy. Summon 5. Level 5. Boop. Hello. But yeah, he's pretty good. He's just a free summon. 21, so pretty bulky, but that's all he does. He's just, hello, I'm a CyberDragon. Ooh, look at me go. Look at me go! I'm CyberDragon! But yeah, that's all he does. You kind of have to run him just because he's the OG. It's like running like a Blue Eyes build and half the running a vanilla Blue Eyes, just because you have to. Same thing with CyberDragon. You gotta run OG CyberDragon, just because all the cards require it. Next up, the secondary new card we're getting, not even CyberDragon. Not even CyberDark. This is Cyber Jormungandr. One of the few new Cyber cards we're getting. Like Cyber Phoenix, Cyber Ogre, Cyber Valley. They interact with the CyberDragon or CyberDark cards, but specifically aren't those. There's something different. They're referred to as Cyber Style, because they're in the same realm as those two, but don't fall into either category. So, Cyber Jormungandr, which if you didn't know, Jormungandr is the world serpent from Norse mythology, is a level 5 light machine, 1021. Cannot be normal summon set. Must be special summoned by card effect. If your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. And then take 1 CyberDragon from your deck, either special summon it or equip it to this card. Also, you can special summon for the rest of the turn, except machine monsters. You can return 1 CyberDragon you control to the hand, add 1 Polymerization from your deck or grave to your hand. You can use each effective Cyber Jormungandr once per turn. So, it sucks that it's not CyberDragon in some fashion, because now it's harder to search, which is okay. But it's great. It's level 5, and it's a light machine. That's great. It's awesome that it gets you a CyberDragon from deck, because that's 1 card Infinity Nova, which is awesome if you're going second, which is still good. But the name thing is the main problem. It's not CyberDragon Jormungandr. It's just Cyber Jormungandr, which is a big, that stinks. But still good. Still very good. And that's it for the monsters. Other than the hand traps, which is just 3 Ash Blossom. Any hand trap you want. Ash is still very good. use this at your discretion. See, these are 3 flex spots you can easily switch up for anything else. Ash level 3 Fire Zombie Tuner. When your opponent activates one of the following, including effects, quick effect, discard this card, negate that effect, add a card from deck to hand, summon a monster from deck, send a card from deck to grave. Any of those 3, boom, Ash done. Goodbye. And we're moving on to the spells. CyberDark Realm. This is one of the cards from the structure deck. It's a very good card. I love this card. It is a continuous spell, which ties into Clockwork Night amazingly. When this card is activated, you can add 1 CyberDark monster from your deck to the hand with a different name from the cards in your graveyard. So, when you play this, depending on what's in your grave, it does matter. So, you just don't get to add any CyberDark. It's the one that's not in the grave. Which, if this is the first time you activate it, you can add anything. But still, just a reference. During your main phase, you can immediately, after effect resolves, normal summon 1 CyberDark monster. With the previous effect of CyberDark Realm once per turn. If you equip a monster from your grave by the effect of a CyberDark monster that activated when it's normal or special summoned, you can equip from your opponent's grave instead. You can activate 1 CyberDark Realm per turn. That last effect, never comes up. But still, the other 2 effects are awesome. It allows you to give additional normal of a CyberDark, and then just allows you to add any CyberDark you want. Easy 3F. Amazing card. The secondary card we got from the structure deck, Cybernetic Herz. This is always treated as a CyberDark card. To send its text. Send 2 dragon and or machine cyber monsters with different attributes to the grave, 1 each from your hand and deck, and add 1 dragon or machine cyber monster from the deck to the hand, and if you do, send 1 machine cyber fusion monster from your extra deck to the grave. You can only activate 1 Cybernetic Horizon per turn. You can activate someone from extra deck when you activate this effect, except machine monsters, which everything in my extra deck is a machine monster, so that's okay. So, this is your Eller combo searcher spell. Very helpful. Send 1 from hand, send 1 from deck. Boom, you got whatever you want. Very helpful. We're moving on to Cyber Eternal. This is a quick play spell. Target 1 machine, cyber fusion monster in your grave, return it to the extra deck, or special summon it, ignoring summoning conditions. The machine cyber fusion monster you control will be destroyed by battle. A card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. You use each effect of Cyber Eternal once per turn. So, this is mainly just a win more card. If you see this, it's awesome, because you can make an additional Towers monster with the cards you typically go combo into, and then just get them back. So yeah, that's very helpful. Also gives you a level of insulation to your plays. And then 3, Cyber Emergency. This is a very good card. It grabs core, or 90% of the deck. No, only a half, because it grabs any light machine monster, or any light, or Cyber Dragon monster. To your hand. If the activation of this card is known in possession was negated by opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can discard 1 card, add this card to your hand. You can only activate 1 Cyber Emergency per turn. So this grabs any Cyber Dragon card you want, which is very good. 2 Power Bond. You're like, why are you running 2? You can only search 1. Because if you draw it and you don't get the search, and then you don't get the additional, you don't get the effect 2 Poly from grave. That's why you have to run 2. It's like Gimmick Puppet. If you can't add Arch and Chaos Force, you don't get the normal summon. If you don't add Power Bond, you don't get the Banish from grave for Poly. You have to run 2. And then 2 Clockwork Night. You could run this as 3 of if you want to see it more often, or just open it. Either or. But I'm running 2 just because I mainly use it for combo cards, and then the second one for searchability. So you can run this at 3, you can run it at 2, you can even run it 1. It doesn't matter. Whatever your preference is. But run this card. Run at least 1, because it's very good. All phase-up monsters on the field become machine monsters. Machine monsters, opponent controls, you control, 500 attack and defense. Also machine monsters, your opponent controls lose 500 attack and defense. You banish this card from your graveyard, and discard 1 card. Add 1 Earth Machine monster from your deck to your hand. You only use each effect of Clockwork Night once per turn. You can only activate 1 Clockwork Night per turn. So, this is DNA surgery for machines in a spell card. Very good. Very, very good. And the last 2 spells, one's Polymerization. Fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monster you control from your hand or field with fusion material. Very generic. It's the generic poly spell. And then lastly, Call by the Grave. Quick play spell. One of the best cards ever printed. It's 1 for a reason. Run 2, you could run more. Yeah. Target 1 monster, opponent's grave, banish it, and if you do until the end of the deck's turn, its effects are negated. It's the activated effects on the field of the monster's original name. So, I'm going to change my example because fire is no longer the best deck. I'm going to use D-Shifter as my example for now on until that card no longer is good. Because Malice exists, and Malice can abuse D-Shifter like nobody's business. If the opponent D-Shifters you, get rid of it. Don't let him do it. Call by Grave. Banish that bastard. He's not good. He's a pain in the ass. That's it for spells. The Traps we're running is 3 infinite impermanence, which is target negation. Target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls negates effects until the end of this turn. If this card was set before the activation of this on the field at resolution, the rest of the turn all spells in the same column are negated. If you control no cards, you can activate this card from your hand. So it's in-hand negation, and then if it's set, you get the same column turned off for the turn. And then lastly, 1 CyberDark Invasion, a continuous trap card. Once per turn, you can activate one of these effects. Target 1 CyberDark effect monster you control, equip 1 dragon or machine monster from either grave to it as an equip spell. Give it 1000 attack. Send 1 equip card you control to a machine monster to the graveyard. Destroy 1 card of your destroy 1 of your opponent's cards. So yeah, it's either equip or pop. Either or. It's good. It's searchable. It's a good handy dandy little tool card. That's it for the main deck. So, let's go into the next deck. We're running 2 Clockwork Night. 1 because it searches the other one. That's it. The reason I'm turning 2. It's just good. It's a Earth Link 1 machine of 500 attack. This materials are 1 non-linked machine monster with 1000 or less original attack, which is a lot of your monsters. If this card is link summoned, you can send 1 face-up continuous spell you control to the graveyard. Add 1 Clockwork Night from your deck to your hand. You can target 1 machine monster with 1000 or less attack in the grave. Tribute 1 other machine monster, and if you do, summon the targeted monster in defense position. You can only use each effect of Clockwork Night once per turn. So, you link it off, you grab Clockwork Night, and then you pop at something else and summon another name back. Very good. Seeger, a light level 2, well, not level 2, Link 2, machine link monster, 21 attack. It's a CyberDragon. 2 machine monsters, including CyberDragon. And this card name becomes CyberDragon while on the field or in the graveyard. During each battle phase, if this card has not declared an attack, quick effect, you can target 1 machine monster you control with 21 or more attack for the rest of the turn. That monster gains 200 attack and defense. Also, neither player takes any damage from ignoring involving this monster. You can only use effect of CyberDragon Seeger once per turn. So, you can target any machine monster. Make it go up by 21. Basically, it gives Seeger's attack to another monster. And then no one takes damage with Seeger. Which is fine. It just makes something else hit harder. That's all. Like, say Seeger's poking into a target that's going to only do 200 damage. You give his attack boost to someone, and then it does nothing. Then you're doing another 48 because of Seeger's attack boost. It's good. It's very helpful. It's good to have. 1 CyberDragon Nova, light machine. Ixie monster, 21, 16. 2 level 5 machine monsters. Once per turn, you can detach material of this card. Trigger 1 CyberDragon in your grave. Summon that target. Once per turn, quick effect. Ooh, I had a cough. You can banish 1 CyberDragon monster from your hand or field. Face up from your monster zone. This card gains 100 attack until the end of the turn. If this card is in your possession and sent to the graveyard by opponent's card effect, you can summon Machine Fusion from your extra deck. So, this is the rank 5 you're making, and you resurrect cards with it. Very good. And CyberDragon Affinity, the one card that everyone knows. It's a light rank 5 machine Ixie monster with 21 and 16. 3 level 6 light machine monsters. Once per turn, you can also Ixie summon Infinity by using CyberDragon Nova. You control its material, transferring its material to this card. Gain a 200 attack for each material attached to this card. Once per turn, you can target 1 face-up attack position monster on the field attached to this card as material. Once per turn, when a card effect is activated, quick effect, you can detach 1 material from this card and negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. So, it's an Omni negate. Woo! Omni! Yay. Very good card. Same infinities on Imperm, by the way. Just to let you know. That's infinity. See? Infinity. Infinity. Boop. 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 Anyways, on to the fusions. As you can see, there is a lot, and they're all good. We have Chimeratech Rampage Dragon, a level 5 dark machine monster. Fusion 2116. 2 plus CyberDragon monsters. A fusion summon of this card can only be done with above fusion materials. When this card is fusion summoned, you can target spell/traps on the field up to the number of materials used for its fusion summon. So you can pop traps with this guy, which is helpful. That does come up. Once per turn, you can send up to 2 light machine monsters from your deck to the grave, and if you do, for each monster sent to the graveyard, this card gains 1 additional attack each battle phase this turn. So, Power Bond, Rampage, 42, swings 3 times, OTK. This is your OTK card. This is your win card. You have to. And the next up we have, I'm going to say this guy's name horribly, I'm gonna try it. Heosvarog, the Mechanical Dawn, a level 7 Light Machine Fusion 028. Two light machine monsters. If this card is fusion summoned, you can activate this effect during the standby phase of the next turn. You can add one card from your grave to your hand with an effect that fusion summons a monster. When your opponent activates a spell/trap card, or effect, you can banish one face-up light machine monster or 2 light machine monsters from your graveyard. Negate the activation. And each effect of Heosvarog, the Mechanical Dawn, once per turn. It's a spell trap negate for Cyber Dragon, which is awesome. There you go. That's what it does. Also, you take no damage if you power up on this guy, because he has 0 attack, which is awesome too. Then we have Chimeratech Fortress Dragon, a level 8 Dark Machine Fusion, attack 0, defense 0. Cyber Dragon plus 1 more machine monsters. Cannot be fusion summoned, must be fusion summoned from the extract by sending above materials from either field or the graveyard. This original attack of this card becomes 1,000 times the number of materials used for a special summon. So, this gets into a mechanic called Contact Fusing, which allows you to poly with no poly spell. Allows you to just, hey look, fusion. So, here's what you do. You have a Cyber Dragon monster. You have Clockwork Night. Poly your opponent's board away. Haha! Big body. That's exactly what this is used for. Very good card. Just poly your opponent's board away. And then he becomes typically like 4,000 or 5,000. Just poke. Big numbers. Yay, big numbers. But yeah, that's what this is for. It's just for board, clearing the board. It's Regeki on legs. Literally, it's just Regeki, but not. And then we have one CyberDark Dragon. You have to run this card mainly because you have to due to the new combos. It's a level 8 Dark Machine Fusion with 1,000. Its fusion materials are Cyber Cough, apparently. No. CyberDark Horn, CyberDark Edge, and CyberDark Keel. This card sucks. Fair warning, CyberDark Dragon is terrible. Like I said earlier, you don't have to run this because you have to run it. Must be fusion summoned. If this card is special summoned, target one dragon monster in your grave. Equip it to this card. It means attack equal to the original attack of the monster equipped. By this effect, gains 100 attack for each monster in your graveyard. This card will be destroyed by battle. Destroy the equipped monster instead. So it's just a bigger version of the little CyberDark cards. That's all it is. You have to run it because of shenanigans. And then we have Chimeratech Megafleet Dragon. This is a level 10 Dark Machine Fusion 0/0. And again, this does have to do with contact fusing. This is one Cyber Dragon monster plus 1 extra monsters in the EMZ. Cannot be used for fusion material. Must be someone from the extra deck by sending the above cards from either field to the grave. The original attack of this card becomes 1,200 times the number of materials used for this card. So this guy does have a limit of how big it can get. It can only get to... It can only get to like 36, I think. Because you can only really use 3 materials for this card. So it can only get to 36. Which is still not bad. But you can eat your opponent's EMZ monsters with this. It's like, oh, well, granted, not anymore, because there's not many good ones anymore, like just generic links that are like, hey, look, a negate. But, for example, for the longest time, Appaloosa. If you know what Appaloosa is, then you are unfortunate. But you could just eat Appaloosa with this. Just normal summon a Cyber Dragon. Special summon Cyber Dragon. Hey, look, Megafleet. And then just they have no monster negates. So, yeah, very helpful. But yeah, it just helps clear EMZ monsters. That's it. And then just another bigger body. If you have a second at 10 monster, you could technically throw Gustav Max in here for burn. Which is kind of ironic. That's actually that's not inherently a bad idea. Because you do run a few 10s. So next up is Cyber Darkness Dragon, a level 10 Dark Machine Fusion, 2,000. Requires 5 Cyber Dark effect monsters. So any 5, which is there's 7 now. Technically only 6, because the one can't be used as fusion material. It's from the deck, which is stupid. Must be fusion summoned. If this card is special summoned, you can target. You can either equip one dragon or machine monster from your graveyard to this card. Gains attack equal to the original attack of the monster equipped by this effect. When your opponent activates this card or effect, quick effect, you can send one equipped card you control to the grave. Negate the activation if you do destroy that card. So, this is once per turn, once per chain, or anything Omni-Negate. That is easily summonable. Because you can put 5 CyberDark monsters in the grave really easily. On top of that, with Regulus already equipping a monster to itself, that gives you 2 guaranteed Omni-Negates inherently, which is awesome. But yeah, this is like the best card in the deck. You're going to be using it a lot. Cyber Eternity Dragon. This is just a good card to run. You're never going to summon it, and if you do, it's going to be cool. It's a light level 10 machine fusion, 28 to 4k defense, giant defense stat. 1 Cyber Dragon monster plus 2 machine monsters. If you have a machine fusion monster in your graveyard, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Also cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects. This fusion summoned monster you control is sent to the graveyard by your opponent. Summon 1 Cyber Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. You can banish this card from your grave. This turn, opponent cannot target fusion monster you control with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So, this just insulates your fusion monsters. That's all it does. Just helpful. It's very good. Does a good job. And the last 2, Cyber Dragon, a level 10, a light machine fusion monster with 4k 28. It's the reverse of Eternity, I believe. Yeah, that is cool. He requires Cyber Dragon. Fusion summon of this card can only be done when above fusion materials. This card attacks with a monster and inflict piercing damage. It's just a giant beat stick. That's all it is. But you need it for the next card, which is CyberDark End, a level 12 dark fusion machine monster with 5,000 attack and 38 defense. It requires CyberDark Dragon plus Cyber and a Dragon. You can inherently poly this if you have both of those cards, but you never do, because one sucks. They both suck, actually. Must be either fusion summon or special summon by tributing 1 level 10 or lower CyberDark fusion monster equipped with Cyber and Dragon. Unaffected by opponent's activated effects. Once per turn, you can equip 1 monster from either grave to this card. This card can attack number of times each battle phase, up the number of equipped cards equipped to it. So, it's a towers. It's a giant towers. That's 5k attack. It gets multiple attacks, depending on the number of equipped cards. So, if it has 2 equipped cards, 2 attacks. It has 5, it gets 5 attacks. 5 attacks at 5,000. That's a lot of damage. That's 5,000 times 5, which is what, like 250,000 damage or something like that? I don't know. That's a lot. But yeah, big old towers. He's huge. But yeah, he's just hard to make. That's why it's just a one of. Well, he's not hard to make. He's just not good to make because Cyber Darkness is better. This gives you Omnis, as this just gives you a Towers monster. If you know the deck you're going against can't get rid of a Towers, yeah, make CyberDark End, man. It's not hard. Legit, you just send this. You just do a combo that just sends this to grave and then gets this guy out. That's not hard. But yeah, that is it. I have a few cards to go over in these kind of possible runs because they're helpful. We have Overload Fusion. Fusion 1 Dark Machine Fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials mentioned on it from the field or grave. So, excuse me. This is basically a really good fusion spell to run if you really want to summon stuff from grave. If you want to banish cards from grave. It's good. I used to run it. It's just, with the new cards, you really don't need it anymore. That's it. It's just not needed anymore. You could still run it. Like, you could. It's just, I don't. Like, if you really wanted to make Cyber Darkness without using Power Bond, and use Power Bond for something else. But you still can. It's just, there's no good way to get it, other than with its Searcher card, which is Evolution Evolution End Burst, which is add 1 Overload Fusion from your deck to the hand. And then it allows you to do other stuff if you fusion summon with that card. But it doesn't really matter because you're never going to use it. Because High Evolution End Burst is not great. It's an okay card. But yeah, just an option. And then lastly are just cards that send stuff to grave. Fusion Armament, reveal 1 fusion monster in your extra deck and summon it. 1 fusion material from those names mentioned on that monster from your extra deck, or grave until the end of the turn. It cannot attack, and its effects are negated. You can only have 1 fusion armament per turn. So you can like reveal any fusion you have, just summon a material off of it from the deck. So like, oh, I reveal CyberDark Dragon. Hey, look, Horn. Boom, done. Which is good. It's a good card to run if you're so inclined. You don't have to. And then lastly, a card we don't even have yet. Over Future Fusion. This card's actually good. It's really good. I like this card. It's just I don't know how to use it right yet, and I might figure it out one of these days. It's a continuous spell card. Activate one of these effects. Reveal one fusion monster in your extra deck and send one of the fusion materials mentioned on it by name from your deck to the grave. And if you do, you can not special summon monsters for the rest of the turn. You cannot special summon monsters with that name nor activate their monster effects for the rest of the turn. I cannot talk on that one. And the second effect is fusion summon one dark machine fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials mentioned on it on from the grave. So, this is legit combining fusion armament and overload fusion. It combines 2 cards into 1. Granted, you can only get 1 of the effects per turn. But still, overload, fusion armament, over fusion thingy, future. It's a retrain of future fusion, but I like how it's these two combined. It's overload fusion and fusion armament because you can send something. Well, it's not inherently fusion armament. It allows you, it sends it instead of summons it, but still, same difference. But yeah, really powerful deck. Not anything like Malice level, I would think, but still very good. Very rogue. I would say probably like tier 2, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm bad at tiering decks. Just try it. See if you like it. It's fun. But yeah, I think that's it for now. This is the first video back from a long break, so this might be a little long. Sorry for the ranting. But I like this deck. I've been playing a lot recently. It's actually probably been playtesting since the announcement, and I've been trying to figure out how to play this deck better until I realized, hey look, it's in CyberDark. So, I'll go ahead and end it here, and I'll see you guys next time. Until then, this has been CyberDark, and I have been the Cardman's Cards. Until next time, keep collecting. Bye.